By February the 27th, I had been admitted to the hospital for 4 days because of the bloating and that I had to have fluid drained and all of that. They retested it. And and in that very, very short time, just from eating carnivore, I hadn't even had chemo yet, my cancer antigen numbers dropped to.
Stacey, how did you find carnivore?
Okay, so I actually found carnivore through switching over to a ketogenic diet. I don't like to say keto too much because it's kind of a buzzword now and it's plastered on everything. That's not the kind of keto diet that I'm talking about. It was high fat, moderate protein, low carb. So 20 grams or less of net carbs. And I found that actually I was going to school to be a medical assistant. This was back in 2017, I believe. And there was a girl, and I just so happened to overhear her talking about she does keto. She was very fit, and I had been struggling. I've struggled my entire life on and off with my weight. The entire time I was in the military, I had a hard time. I was raised by my dad, and not to make it sound bad, it was rough. And I grew up on restaurant food. So my grandmother owned a cafe. My dad didn't cook. He was a bachelor. We can go. That's a whole other story. But I was raised basically on McDonald's, restaurant food, and junk food. So I would binge eat. So I never was taught really how to eat right. Anyway, fast forward until, so I binged ate junk food. I was never overweight when I was younger. I was what they call skinny fat. So I was just not healthy. Um, anyway, so like I said, so by 2017, I had two kids. I'd blown up to my heaviest weight, which was 206 pounds. I meant to send you a before picture of that. Um, and I can still send it to you. And matter of fact, I think that picture is the picture that I was like, who is that? Like, I have to make a change. Also, my mother and my older sister at the time were both going through cancer, which is obviously me too. So we all have the BRCA1 gene. My sister passed away at the age of 45 from she had breast cancer first. She had a double mastectomy. It came back to her brain, and she didn't make it. My mom in 2018 also developed ovarian cancer. She beat that. It came back to her brain. So around that time, I was losing people left and right. I've lost my dad to health reasons. A horrible lifestyle, really. I had a husband that passed away at 37 years old. He was juvenile diabetic, but complications, he never took care of himself. He didn't eat right. He ended up having a stroke at 37 years old in his brainstem and had to be taken off life support. So, needless to say, I've lost a lot of people due to poor eating choices, and a bad lifestyle. So, I decided to take, really do something about my health. I had two small kids at the time and I didn't want to pass away. I didn't want to die at 45 like my sister. And just all of that just came to a head. And I heard her say keto. I researched keto probably a good year before I even started it. And then I just did it. And it was the keto where I'm not eating keto sweets and all of that stuff, like which later on I got back re-addicted to it. But I'd heard her talk about keto. I researched it. I tried it. I lost about 40 pounds in the first few months. By, I don't know, a couple of months into it, I guess I'd lost almost 80 pounds. So fast forward, like I said, I've been keto since 2018. Um, you kind of get complacent with it, right? You start like, this little sweet's not going to bother, here, strawberries here, the low sugar berries. But my problem is I'm an addict. So I go overboard. And so I had to dial it back in. And I'd already been doing that, like researching and seeing, I follow Dr. Ken Berry. I follow now Dr. Anthony Chafee and all of those guys. And was like, okay, I can, do the carnivore. And I was looking into it because I'd already got re-addicted to the keto sweets, right? There's a type of ice cream, Rebel ice cream, which I thought was keto. And because it fits the macros and it doesn't spike my blood sugar, it was okay. But problem is I go overboard. So anyway, so again, fast forward to February of this past year, I was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer, just like my mother and my sister. She didn't have ovarian cancer; it was breast cancer. But so stage 4 ovarian cancer, February 7th, and that day I switched to carnivore. And that's kind of how that all came about. I'd found it through keto and Dr. Ken Berry and all those guys. And when I found out I had cancer, I was just, all right, I'm done switching all carnivore. And that's what happened. And it's been amazing since.
Wow. That's quite a journey. Um, and so what has happened in that period of time? So since February this year.
Okay. So since February the 7th, and I do have like I have videos up too. I have a very small YouTube channel, but it shows I've shown screenshots. So February 7th, diagnosed. February the 26th was when I had my first chemo treatment. But right before then, they take blood and all of that, and they do a test called a CA-125 test. So it's your cancer antigen numbers, right? And it's a number that shows whether your tumors are shrinking, if your treatment is working, and all of that. It had already dropped. So the day that I was diagnosed, or right about that time, my CA-125 numbers were 5,718. So anything above 35 is cancerous. Anything below 35 is normal for everyone, and everyone has a number. Mine was 5,718. By February the 27th, I had been admitted to the hospital for 4 days because of the bloating, and that I had to have fluid drained and all of that. They retested it. And in that very, very short time, just from eating carnivore, I hadn't even had chemo yet, my cancer antigen numbers dropped to 4,888, 4,888 from 5,000, just in that little bit of time. And I can show that on the charts where they show the trend and whatever. And so the February 26th was my first chemo treatment, and I debated whether to do chemo. I said no radiation at all. But because it was stage 4 and I was scared, and I'm a single mother of 2 teenagers, I said I went ahead with the chemo. But I think I know the combination of the carnivore with the chemo has caused it to drastically. So since February, I've gone from cancer antigen numbers, tumors everywhere, to now my cancer antigen numbers are 9.2 normal. And that's in since February. Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
9.2.
9.2. Yes, 9.2. I have chills thinking about it, just talking about it. But yep, 9.2. And like I said, I have that screenshotted. So they give us a little app that we can get onto our phone and check all of our test results, all of our appointments coming up, doctor's appointments, and all of that. It's called My Chart. So I can get on there and look at everything that was tested. So they do your metabolic panel. They do a CBC, and I forget exactly what it's called, your platelets and all of that stuff, and then the CA-125. So now, because of the chemo, it's kind of thrown the blood work a little bit out of whack, as far as platelets being low and all that. But obviously my cancer antigen numbers are perfect. So yeah. And I
So
can prove it.
what are your doctor's reactions to this? Because
Well,
surely this is not usual.
Well, I'm actually going to ask. I'm like, because I don't know why I don't ask, but I want to know what is the normal of how fast this usually like works, right? Or chemo. And I haven't said, listen, I do a carnivore diet, or maybe I have, but because I just don't want any argument about it. I don't want them telling me because I'm going to do. I've always been that way. I do what I know is best for me anyways. But he's like, you're really responding well to the chemo. And I'm like, yeah, and the carnivore. Like it's a combination of both. And so yeah, they're really surprised and happy with my results. They want to do it 7 chemos, but the original plan was 3 and then surgery and then 3 more. Well, it ended up being 4 because of a schedule, and then surgery. And then he's saying 3 more, but I'm refusing the last one. I'm going to do 6. I got 1 more and then I'm done. So, and we'll see how they respond to that. So I'm a veteran. And so all my health care is through the VA. So I'm kind of afraid to say no because I'm scared they're going to not want to take care of me anymore, but I'm still going to do it. I'm still refusing that last chemo. They seem to be pretty happy with everything that's, my results, and they're just keep doing what you're doing. So I will. And
Wow.
that's not to say that I haven't had cheat days, before, and I didn't take into account the steroids that come with your chemo treatments, and so I fell way off carnivore, and I was like, "What is happening to me? What is wrong with me?" Well, I didn't realize that my blood sugars are going through the roof with the chemo and the steroids, right? That spikes your blood sugars, and so I was wondering, why am I craving all this, and why am I like not giving up, but just kind of saying F it and like I'm gonna do this one time. And I really think it's because I don't want to make excuses, but I am making excuses, but I really think it was because of the steroids. But anyway, my point is I'm back on track and I'm feeling amazing. Like I feel amazing. I go and I walk and run. I say run. It's more like a little jog because I have little short legs, very slow. But I do that. I still am able to work out very slowly and easy, but I mean, I feel amazing.
Well, there I mean, this is awesome to hear. Um, and so what is your eating patterns like?
Well, for a long time, because I am also trying to get back into really completely 100%, I would say I'm 90% carnivore because I also eat pickles every once in a while, or um, still have my issues where I'm struggling. But so I would fast. I mean, even by accident, because you're just not hungry when you're on carnivore. You're not hungry. You almost fast by accident, but so I'll either get up and have a cup of. I do still have coffee, don't most of us? But with no sweetener, just I'll either use coconut oil, which is also not carnivore, but there's MCTs, which kind of helps kick you in, get you into the fat burning mode a little bit faster. So either and heavy whipping cream is a dash of that, but no sweetener. And then I'll either eat bacon and eggs, leftover steak and eggs, lots of eggs, lots of bacon, lots of butter. Um, I'll get a cheap cuts of meat, cut them up in bite-sized pieces. I eat a lot of steak bites. I do eat chicken because I have kids, and so I make carnivore chicken nuggets with pork rinds and whatnot. So I don't eat a whole lot because again, I'm hardly ever hungry.
So and sorry, that's once a day, twice a day?
About twice a day is what I'm eating now. Well, that's not true. Now it's about 3 times a day because steroids. Like it's really making me want to eat so much. I'm realizing, and plus I'm also back to working out, so I'm eating more. But yeah, 2 or 3 times a day, and I'm sure I'll get back to where it's. And again, I'm a CrossFit coach and member, so I work out a lot, so I have to eat a whole lot more too now that I work out so much. But when I first started, I was doing OMAD, so 1 meal a day, and I'll show you. I went from so at my heaviest, 206 pounds. What was that? 2017, and then to my lowest, 2020, I was down to 128 pounds, and I didn't even realize how small and skinny I looked. So I've gained weight since then, muscle and all of that. But I had so much energy from that. That's actually what led me to CrossFit at 40 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the reduction in your cancer numbers is awesome. What other things have happened since you've been on carnivore? Any other changes you've noticed?
Oh yeah. So I very high anxiety from childhood and military and whatnot. Anxiety is almost. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but my anxiety has lessened tremendously. What else? Depression, anxiety. The basic. Like I want to say, everyone. Look, I could quit alcohol. I don't want to say an alcoholic, but yeah, basically every weekend. I worked hard during the week with the military and whatever. My excuse was I work hard, I play hard, but I overdid it. So, and I really didn't think I would ever be able to quit drinking alcohol, quit smoking cigarettes. I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for 30 years. Um, and so all of that has gone away. And I really truly believe it starts with getting all of the junk, the sugar, the chemicals out of your system so that your brain is clear enough to even process previous things that have happened, in life or whatever, and instead of suppressing it or drowning it with alcohol. So I don't think that I would have been able to quit alcohol and all of that. I make myself sound worse than I am, but I don't think I've been able to quit that without. carnivore. And well, I want to say, ketogenic, the proper keto is a good way to transition to carnivore, but both of them. I don't think I'd be here without it. One more thing. I'm sorry. Cholesterol. Like I'm 40. I'm going on 46 years old. My cholesterol was that of a teenager. They said, and the way I'd eaten previously, I should be dead. I shouldn't have a liver. Like I should. I don't even know how it survived this long, but it fixed all of that. My lungs. I had an X-ray on my lungs, and this was on post. And he said your lungs look clear, and I was like, what? Like how? But yeah, they were good. So that was
N nice. So you talked about, both carnivore and the ketogenic diets.
mhm.
Did you find that it's kind of it's a really good self-control thing?
Oh, yes. As far as teaching self-control?
That,
And
yeah, it's good at self-control as far as being able to get rid of those vices,
yes.
it's like it's much easier to say no and kind of be a real solid no to the things
Yeah,
rather than like,
absolutely.
I'm gonna try my best, but I'm probably gonna fall off the wagon kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, in the beginning, absolutely. Like I said, I did have this mess up recently, so I am trying to get back to that point. But yes, absolutely. I think it becomes like again, you're getting all of the chemicals and all of that processed stuff out of your brain. Your brain becomes clear, your mind becomes clear, and so you're conscious now of what you're putting in your body. So it's like, okay, now I know, and not only that, once you get into the place of you're feeling like amazing, like superhuman, like we do, you add one thing and you can tell exactly what it's doing to your body. So it's like, nope, I know what this is going to do. I know what that is going to do. There's no way. It absolutely helps you control um, everything, your whole life, actually, really.
Yeah. How have your kids responded to this? You talked about making the carnivore nuggets and stuff.
Yeah, they love it. I mean, I have not, if I'm completely honest, I have not transitioned them yet. As long as I've been on keto and carnivore, but because they're teenage, it's like I created little sugar monsters when I didn't know any better, and now getting them as teenagers, because I don't know whether I don't want to force them and make it traumatizing, but they know and they've seen the difference in me, and so my son is already like they love what the food because obviously who doesn't love steak, but the chicken nuggets I used to make when I was still keto, because everybody loves I'm from the South, we love macaroni and cheese, so we made the cheesy cauliflower, and my daughter loves it, and she would actually now rather have that than the macaroni and cheese. Yeah, but it is a vegetable. I know, I'm still working on that. The fact that vegetables are not all that great for us too. But again, we can tell the difference when we don't eat vegetables, and then we add that vegetable in, and it's like, oh, it's not agreeing. So, but my kids they're coming along slowly but surely. But I feel better knowing that now I know how, if anything comes up, I know how to fix it. You know what I mean? I know how to fix them, and they know, and they've seen it. So maybe when they get a little older, I can get them to
Yeah. And, have any friends commented on this?
my friends. Well, so I completely changed my life. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends at my new gym where I work and where I work out. So they don't know me before. They never seen that part of me, and a lot of them I had like I'll show them a picture and they can't believe it's me. So they're obviously impressed. But then in CrossFit, it's hard to get a CrossFitter to not love carbs. I know that sounds so bad, but um, so it's hard to get anybody to kind of listen to me when it comes to not having carbs as much as we work out, but I'm not trying to force anything on them. But however, so people that knew me before, like they thought I was on drugs. That's how fast I lost the weight and how much, because I'm bouncing all around, hey, hey, and they're just like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, no, I just feel great. It's carnivore, it's keto. Um, so not a lot of friends, but yeah, they see the difference. I got my mom to do it for a little while. She was doing really good, but it really is hard. She's 68 and she's going through radiation, and she had just had a tumor removed from her brain, which is like, well, even more reason why I cut all the sugar out. So she's trying and she's doing okay, but other than that, I don't know anyone else. A few people here and
Yeah.
there.
So, this is all such good news.
Yeah.
Um, do you plan that this is just gonna be the way forward? This is gonna be what you're gonna do forever?
Oh, absolutely. I don't plan on ever going back to the standard American diet, um, just because it's poison. I know 1000% it's poison. Sugar is a drug, just like any other drug. I believe it's so addictive, and I believe that you know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I believe it's put in so many things and to get us addicted to it. And those of us that are already, have the addictive personality and already struggle with addiction, it's like it feels impossible. But it's not impossible. I'm telling you, carnivore will it saves lives. It can help break any kind of addiction. Not I think it helps break all sorts of addictions. But yes, this is lifelong for me, carnivore, at least keto carnivore. Because everyone, I mean, I do love it to have some vegetables every once in a while. It's like I still like broccoli and cheese. um, but yeah, I'm in it for life, and I plan on getting my children in it for life eventually when we get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pushing 50. it's I gotta move it or lose it and stay healthy as possible so that I'm around for my kids for as long as possible.
So if someone came to you and said, "Look, I want to start this carnivore diet. I want to really make a change to my life.
Mhm.
Please give me some advice." What advice would you give them for getting started?
Number one, research it. Do your research. Know what you're getting into. Know that it's not going to be completely. It's not going to be cake. Nope. Poor choice of words. But it's for some of us it's easy. For some of us it's not easy. And you just have to find what works for you. Whether that's going straight to carnivore or whether that's going keto and then into carnivore. I believe keto into carnivore helps with the oxalate dumping and all of that. You kind of transition a little bit better. But it's not to say that someone is not able to go straight to carnivore. I would say definitely electrolytes, definitely do your research, know what you're getting into, and just don't give up. Even if you fall off, get back and try again. It took me months in the beginning to really stick with it because it's 40 years you know, of eating wrong and learning that way. You have to relearn things. So I would say just don't give up, keep trying, get back on the saddle and trust the process because it does work. And you will be amazed at how well a human body can feel. Like yeah,
Nice. So, Stacey, how can we find you? Do you have a YouTube channel? And
I do.
yeah, what kind of videos can we see there?
I'm just starting out my YouTube channel. It's really just me. I started it when I got diagnosed to kind of keep the gym folks and people updated on my health because I don't get out much and I'm toxic or whatever. But yes, it's carnivore, CrossFit, and cancer. My journey, or I might have those three C's mixed up. But Stacey Johnson is my name, and then I'm on Facebook too, Stacey Johnson. I'm sure that's all. I have it set to private on Facebook, but I mean, friend request me or again, like my YouTube channel. Again, it's very small. It's just a few videos out there. Yep, that's how you can find me. I don't do a lot of videos,
Nice.
but I'm trying to get a little better at it.
Nice. Well, I'll link to those below. Stacey,
Oh,
thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. I really
thank you.
appreciate it.
I thank you for having me.